Well, hello my YouTube friend. Tonight it is my pleasure to present you this video that was kind of long overdue because you know me, whenever I receive a knife, maybe you can expect to have the video of a knife that I adore a day or a couple of days after. And this is something that I wanted to address. Actually, I didn't do this video because this knife came with an issue and you know how I am, or maybe you don't. So let me let me tell you about that. I am a guy who make video for YouTube just for the heck of it, just for the pleasure to share with you guys, and I have absolutely no agenda here other than having fun, sharing the love, and presenting the knife that I love. I don't feel that it is mandatory for me to present knives that I don't like. I mean, if I don't like, I don't want to talk about it. So this is the end of it. It won't go any further. I'm not paid for that. So again, if I do that, it's just because I love something and I want to share with you guys. Maybe I can be criticized for that, for not being unbiased. I mean, truly, honestly, I don't care. This is the tone of my video, and again, it's a positive tone because this is how I am. I don't want to spoil or waste my time speaking about things that I don't like. Why am I saying that? Because actually, I absolutely adore that knife. And I was eager to do the video about it, but since it had an issue, I was kind of reluctant to discuss about it. But you know, this is not my sincerity. The way I am is that if I want to say something, I say it, and I'm gonna say it right now, so we can clear the elephant out of the room. So this knife came with that issue. Lock fail, okay? Kind of steep angle and very early engagement. Some good reason for a fail lock, but this is really, really unusual with Eric. You know me, you know how I like Eric Ochs, and for those of you who know him, you know that he's one of the top maker out there. And I dare you to find any maker that didn't have any kind of locking failure or some flaws on their knives. I mean, they're custom knife makers, so you know, shit can happen. They will fix it. This knife will be fixed for sure. So to me, it's really not a concern. So since it's not really a concern, and since I was eager to do this video, and since it's one of the knives that I like the most, here I am presenting you that absolutely fantastic knife. And one word also that I wanted to discuss, and that is bothering me like nothing, is that, you know, like take a couple of years ago, this knife, everyone would jump to it, would chase it. That would be a quest in order to get that knife. Why? Because it's the first Persian that Eric ever did. Because the design is fantastic, just beautiful, just a great ergo, something that we're going to discuss when I'm going to present the knife. So this is something that anyone should, you know, I mean, you would expect everyone to chase that like crazy. And because of the trend, because, you know, some collectors make the trend. That's it, you know. And the trend evolves in a way that is probably even harder to understand than the good Lord. So this is something that I really cannot fathom. Like I said, a couple of years ago, knives from Eric, they were like thought after like you cannot imagine. Take like even before, when I got my Tatsu Tanto, my first Tatsu Tanto, not this one, it was absolutely almost impossible to get. And actually the Tatsu Tanto is a good example because it's one of the grind that I like the most, one of the grind that drove me, you know, insane when I started collecting knives. You know, I liked at that time big blades with, you know, those crazy grind, convex tip. I just adore the Tatsu. It was impossible to get. This was impossible and I had two. And actually I sold one to my buddy Apostolos because he also like trying to get one like crazy, couldn't find one. And nowadays, I mean, Apostolos has one like, I don't know, like 4 Tatsu Tanto. You can find them. It's easy to find them. They're even less expensive than they used to be. That because the trend evolved for no reason. Because Eric is the same. He's doing knives even better as time goes by. So that is something that I don't understand. Why the trend of a maker like Eric can evolve like that. It is something that is bugging me. And it's annoying me because you have other makers that have a great trend and don't have even the half of the qualities that Eric has. So now I wanted to, express that, to clear that off my system, because it's something that is bugging me in this knife world, community, whatever. The fact that some maker can go up and down and something like that, and for no other reason than, I don't know, no reason. When there's no reason, it's just that there's no reason, so you don't want to explain that. There's absolutely no reason for that. Because this knife, it's a recent build from Eric, the first Persian he made, doing for G7. What a beautiful knife. I absolutely love it, and man, it sat on Blade Junkie website for a couple of months, which is something that I don't understand. And those are the couple of things that I wanted to discuss before presenting the knife. And now let's head up and let's go and present that beautiful knife. So we have here a very, very nice build, a little discrepancy. So you know what, let's clear all the cons before starting with the pros. A little discrepancy is the build. This is an asymmetrical build. I don't, I said that I don't like when it's too much asymmetrical, but when it's like a clear carbon fiber and Loctite on the other, it's just fine. That's good. I don't like when it's very dressy on that side with some like crazy Timascus with bolsters, whatever, a great build, and on the other, boom, a simple lock. This is something that I don't like. But a full, scale like that of carbon fiber, and on the other side, a frame lock, that's fine by me. But something that I don't really appreciate is that when there's a discrepancy with the ratio, you have extra thickness here on the presentation side. I mean, the carbon fiber could have been a little bit thinner as the liner in order to be more even with the frame. But this is something that is not really concerning because of the contouring that you have here, which is perfect, and you can hardly tell that there is really an asymmetry in thickness on this knife. Now, the action is superb. Of course, don't regardless of the failing lock, but the action, the flipping action, is just fantastic. It flips like nothing. I really like the action on this one. The air goes on the handle is fantastic. Look at the place of the choice for your index here. All the rest of the fingers goes on this knife, on this handle, which is very, very nice, nicely done. The ergos are great, really great. I like the flipper type design, the guard that it makes here, and I've talked about that. When you have a great guard like that, you don't need really jimping on the spine, since you don't care if it's slippery here, as long as your index is protected by the guard. So very nice ergo here, very nice piece of carbon fiber. The medallion is just, it's flawless, it's seamless. The junction, you cannot even tell. I don't know how it does that, it's just beautiful. And a great design also on this medallion. Love, love, love it. Nice pivot. You see the hardware, but whatever. It's regular hardware. On the other side, you have this beautiful anodization. I absolutely adore that. Very nice and deep bead blast that, it's kind of consistent with the dark finish that you have here of the dark stonework that you have on the blade. I like, Neil Blackwood also does that. I really absolutely adore those dark and bead blast finish. I like also the fact that, when he does here the relief cut, you have a relief cut that brings something to the design. Usually the relief cut is a cut. So, it's here like that, and it spoils a little bit the design. On this one, this is why I appreciate when it's on the inside, the relief cut. But here I appreciate it because you have some grooves, and you have also, as you can see, it's satin, the finished satin, contrasting here with the bead blast. Absolutely adore that. Lock bar stop, it grew on me. Why? Because physically, I learned that recently, when you put some negative pressure here on the blade, you're going to have some pressure on the lock that will go either way here, of course, but that will go also from front to back. And the lock bar stops not only, the over traveling of the lock on this way, but also will prevent the pressure that you have from front to the back. Boom, boom, this pressure here will be stopped by the lock bar stop. So basically, it's not a real great design, but the function, I like it for the function. The clip was a concern to me, but actually I absolutely adore that clip. I think it was one of the reasons I didn't want to buy it in the first place. But look at that. It's an extra thick piece of carbon fiber, kind of different from the other side. This is the regular checkers pattern, and on this one, it's almost, I would call it probably marble carbon fiber. Very, very nicely done. Look at this. I mean, the retention is great. I mean, I carried it in a pocket. Again, it was a concern, but because if it's 3D, it's thick and it's light and thick and you don't feel it in hand. It's just something that was a concern. It's actually one of the features that I like the most now on the knife, which is crazy. On the back, I like the contrast of the liner that are here satin, contrasting again with the bead blast, and also gives a nice contrast with the back spacer that is here. You see the grind line, and on the edges of the back spacer, it's kind of bead blast. Absolutely adore this back spacer. Very, very nicely done. What is to say about that grind? It's just a superb grind. This is something that is just insane. The best, I mean, I've seen other flipper that he does with some harpoon craziness, but this is just neat. Perfectly. Look at this line. What a beautiful line. Usually, you can expect to have the line like straight like that and like that because it's easier. In order to have this grind, it's just one single grind, and it's really hard to get something that is as smooth and perfect as that. Very nice little swedge here. I like small swedge, small flat and a big bevel like that. Absolutely, absolutely adore that grind, and the fact that it's a Persian brings something even more important and more appreciable for me. Absolutely fantastic, and I love. Usually, I'm all craziness about satin, but here I think it matches perfectly the knife. It's a badass knife, like black on the carbon fiber, black on the blade. Very, very nice. I like the fact also that on this design specifically, Eric went for a kind of neat and continuing line here from the handle to the blade. Let me show you that. Usually there is a kind of a kind of gap. It's not on purpose, but Eric doesn't like to do that. Some people don't like it. I don't mind. It goes with the design of the knife. But on this one, it's like very nice and even, and you have this curve here, and of course the Persian style here, which bring a lot of curvature here on the knife. Absolutely, absolutely adore that knife. Now the lock failure. Again, a knife that I'm carry on a daily basis. Why would you say? Because of the lock failure or whatever? I don't give a rat's ass. Sorry. Sorry to say. It will be fixed for sure. I don't want to have a knife that don't have all the features that I can expect on the knife. I mean, it's a tactical knife, and I expect that knife to be perfect. Even if I'm not going to baton that knife. I don't care. Even if it's going to be a desk knife, I want it to be perfect, that's for sure. So it's going to be fixed. But again, reality is that I'm using that knife. I carried it every day since I have it. What you use when you have a knife like that, when you use it actually, is positive pressure. You're going to have some positive pressure on the blade, and this pressure will go on the stop pin here. This is simple physics, The positive pressure will go on the pin, and this is something that won't fail, of course. The only reason that it will fail is if you have negative pressure, and negative pressure on a suburban daily basis, it's not something that you can expect. So really, I absolutely don't care about that. What else can I say about this knife? The centering is fine. A little bit, tiny bit on the right, but just to say something, As I say, the action is superb. I like everything about that knife, and I'm really would like, and I hope that the trend of Eric will go up and up and up again, because there are so many makers that do some rendering that don't even produce knives, and they are just because they're exposed on the social media, they're gonna have their trend there, and this is something. This is not knife collecting, my friends. If you like knives, if you adore knives like I do, you're gonna be more, invested in the quality of the maker, the way he does his knife, way more than of course, social media is great, is way to advertise for makers. Absolutely adore the social media, but it's not it. It's not, the social media cannot rule all this, knife thing, and guys like Eric should have their trend always at the top, because he's always at the top. And that was, something that I also wanted to express, and I hope that I did it the right way. And with that being said, my friend, we are heading to the 15 minutes, and I don't want to cut this video like, subitly like that. So I'm gonna leave it at that, and we'll catch you very soon for another video. Bye bye, it was a pleasure.